So the Eternal MMA 79 card just wrapped up. So in the first fight we had Jaden Binney versus Brody Eade. Really good performance here from Jaden Binney, sorry. He looked very dominant. Uh, Very good grappling from him. You know, he showed a really improved game in this fight from his past fights, and yeah, honestly, just a very dominant performance. You know, he gets the second round rear naked, and yeah, that's all there is to say. Very good performance from this man. Team Compton, you know, rising up. They're doing very good gym at the moment. Then we had Sam Dobb versus Alfred Stoddart. This was a really good performance from Alfred Stoddart. You know, after his loss to Darcy Vendy, I seen some potential in the guy. You know, I didn't think he looked really bad in that fight, but yeah, he looked amazing in this fight. Like generally looked great. I was very impressed with his performance. You know, to quote GSP, I was very impressed with your performance. You know, he looked very good in there though. Like generally looked very good. Just piecing Sam Dobb up. Now I will say there was a weird moment in the first round where apparently Sam Dobb hit Alfred Stoddart in the groin, which I don't know if that happened or not, but he got a takedown and then the ref stopped it. It was a really weird sequence. You know, that could have completely shifted the momentum there because it was a really good takedown Sam Dobb got, and he never went for it again, which I found really weird, but still, very fun fight. It was a really good fight, but then in the later rounds, Alfred Stoddard just took over, and yeah, he kneed him to the head and to the body like in one sequence. It was like 10 fucking knees to the head. It looked like could have been to the body. The angle was a bit off, so I couldn't properly see it. But he was literally just bombing his body with these knees. It was crazy, but it was a really cool sequence there. And yeah, I enjoyed that fight a lot. It was really good. Alfred Stoddart, you know, it's the Darcy Vendy blessing, I guess. You lose to Darcy Vendy, then you go on a run. You know, you have zero losses, you have zero wins, and then you lose to Darcy Vendy, and then you just go on a streak. You know, it's the Jack Della Maddalena way. But anyway, yeah, going on after that, we had Brody Stewart versus George Mangos. I told you to look out for this George Mangos guy. He's a really good prospect. I think he's only 19 years old. He's already 3-0 as a pro. 9 wins, nine win streak combining his amateur fights. You know, he went 6-0 as an amateur against pretty good competition. And this guy is just really good. You know, really good grappler as well. His hands are pretty good too. He's got knockout power. But this fight was very interesting. Brogan Stewart had some of the weirdest rear naked choke defense I've ever seen. He like just let him choke him. He didn't even fight the hands. Like George Mangos was on top of him, like on top of his back, and yeah, he just let him choke him pretty much, and then just went out cold. It was really weird, just a really weird sequence. If you can go check out the Fight Pass Twitter account, you go see it. It was just yeah, it was really weird. Some of the weirdest rear naked choke defense I've ever seen in my life. But you know, George Mangos takes Brogan Stewart's O, and yeah, like I say, George Mangos is one guy to look out for. I've got George Mangos and Harry Webb up there for like the two big names you got to watch out for in the Australian regional scene. Like I generally think these guys are going to go very far, and you'll be seeing these guys mixing up with the international talent before long. But yeah, just you know, like I say, George Mangos is so young, so you don't even have to rush him. He'll be in the UFC before long, or you know, one of them big promotions. Like I believe in this guy a lot. And then we had Kobe Porter versus Jordan Thomas. This was a really good performance from Kobe Porter. You know, just because he's got an even record doesn't mean, you know, those losses. Michael Stanoff, you know, not a bad loss. And then Talor Wester, I don't remember that fight, so I can't actually remember what happened in that fight. But, you know, he has an extended amateur career. Wow, it seems like he fought everybody. No way David Martinez was an amateur in 2017. What the fuck? Oh, the more you know. But anyway, yeah, very interesting record. But now he's 3-2, and yeah, he's looking very improved. You know, I knew after he beat Nam Stevens, and Nam Stevens is like a legitimate guy. So if you're beating him, you know, it's not. You're not too bad. But yeah, a really good performance here. Kobe Porter just knocks him out and yeah, just gets the finish. But yeah, great performance. And then in the co-main event, we had Don Marfan versus James O'Brien. The poor dog. I love Jimmy the dog. You know, he's a fun fighter, but unfortunate the dog loses here. Don Marfan chokes him out cold. There was a lot of technical submissions on this card, to be honest. James O'Brien did tap, but he still went out. But yeah, Don Marfan, really good grappling. You know, this guy was a jiu-jitsu champion. I'm not sure the exact championships and accomplishments he had, but I know his jiu-jitsu is like super legit. And yeah, his only loss is to Quillen Salkeld, so you know it's not a bad loss at all to have. Quillen Salkeld, I think, will be in the UFC before long. He's a really good prospect, great sprawling game, and just a super well-rounded. And you know he beat Don Marfan in his own game, but still Don Marfan, not a finished product. He'll keep improving. He's got a good team behind him, Team Compton. You know he trains with Tom Nolan, you know, UFC lightweight Tom Nolan. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of guys coming out of that gym. You know, Compton, Team Compton. You know, it's a really good gym, a lot of up and coming fighters. But yeah, really good performance there from Dom Marfan. Then we had the main event, which was Ben Johnston versus Yoon Seo Shin. Now this fight, I don't know how this fight even got sanctioned, man. This was like a this was a horrible mismatch, especially if you look at the size and record of Seo Shin. He was literally, and I went and checked Yun's Tapology page. This guy was legitimately a lightweight, and this fight was at middleweight. Like I don't know, that's generally just very unfair, man. Like yeah, it's not great matchmaking, but I guess it was hard to match Ben Johnston up, so they had to bring a lightweight over from South Korea. But still, regardless, they both accepted the fight. So I will say, very good performance from Ben Johnston. You know, his striking's legit. Former Muay Thai world champion, and he's definitely got a very fun style. He moves to 4-1 now. Uh, and yeah, he was calling for the UFC. I don't think he's going to get the UFC. I think he might need to win another fight or two before he even gets close to like a Dana White Contender Series or something like that. He does have a CKB background though, so maybe they can pull some strings and get him in there. But he's a fun fighter. You know, he doesn't get to choose who he fights. You know, pretty much he has to take what he can get. Yeah, there was a massive size discrepancy in that fight. You know, I'll probably put that as the photo for this fight. It would just be a photo of him versus that Yun guy. Because yeah, as soon as I seen, I was like, damn, there's no way this guy fights at fucking lightweight, man. No way this guy fights at middleweight because he generally just looks tiny. And Ben Johnston's like a pretty big middleweight, former welterweight, but still 6'4", and he looks like he's sized out a bit to middleweight. You know, I don't know why he even cut down to welterweight at all. Like, yeah, generally this was crazy, and like the other guy was 19 as well, so it's like it's just a crazy fight to make. It honestly it looked like a freak show fight, and I'm not even exaggerating here. Like I don't know, size difference is crazy. But yeah, still great performance from Ben Johnston. I'm not gonna like I'm not just gonna shit on the man. You know, he's a good fighter. I like his style, but it's like huge size difference. Like yeah, honestly felt like a freak show fight, but still, you know, Eternal's got this like a relationship with the some Korean promotions. So I guess we'll be seeing more Korean fighters in Eternal, which will be cool. But still, yeah, there was definitely a huge size discrepancy there. You can't even hide that. Uh, but yeah, you know, really good card though. My takeaways from this is just George Mangos continues to impress me. You know, the guy's very good. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. The guy's very good, and I think just I don't know, put him on your radar for sure. Harry Webb, George Mangos, they're the guys I think should be on everybody's radar, especially if you follow the Australian scene like I do. You know, I feel like I have a very good eye for the talent, you know, and yeah, they're definitely two guys I've got my eyes on for future big things. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that card. Very good card. Obviously, not the most stacked Eternal card. The last Eternal card a few weeks ago was more stacked on paper, but Still, this was a pretty good card. Uh, the next Eternal card should be pretty alright too. So yeah, hopefully some big fights get made soon. And yeah, the Australian scene continues to be entertaining for sure. I love the Australian scene so much, man. I like not just even because I'm Australian, but just the fights are actually generally very entertaining, and the actual product itself, the actual TV product, or the broadcast product is actually very high level. So yeah, I enjoy it. You know. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. UFC Fight Night Fiziev versus Gamrot, so should be a good card tomorrow. So can't wait for that.